everybody, and welcome to the Elseworlds Exchange. I'm Sal, that's Joel, and we're going to be talking about our favorite movies of last year. That's right, it's post-Oscar season, and we don't have to worry about all the hype. It's over.
It is. It really is. You know, it's funny. All these movies were on everyone's radars, and everyone was feeling, really passionate about them. It was Crusader level.
Yep.
But now it's done. Now you talk about the movies, and like, you're a friggin' dinosaur, man. That was last year.
Exactly. That was last year. People can, because DiCaprio now has the Oscar, everybody can say that he was overrated in The Revenant. They can say that, like, it's really bad for actors when if you eat a bison liver and you do a lot of good stuff, you can get an Oscar.
If you do a lot of grunting. And it's, I think you and I talked about this before, where it's like, the Oscars, especially with Leo, where it's like, yeah, he won this year, but not because he deserved it. It's because he deserved it the last 4 times.
Exactly. No, that was an achievement Oscar. That was the Scorsese Oscar, where it's like, yeah, The Departed
so glad you said Scorsese.
The Departed was fine, but
it was no Casino. It was no Goodfellas.
It was no Raging Bull. Like, any one of those 3, you deserved it. You didn't get it for those 3. I don't fucking know why. I actually don't have the research in front of me, so I don't really know what movies came out that year, but I guarantee you, out of the 3, one of them should have gotten it, and they were like, fuck, after Gangs of New York bombed, I don't know how many more of these fucking movies Scorsese's gonna make.
Man, I forget sometimes that Gangs of New York is a thing.
Yeah, I deliberately forget that Gangs of New York is a thing. I remember being so hyped for Gangs of New York. I'm like, here we go!
Premise.
Scorsese! Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, playing an Irish woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with the most bottle red hair I've ever seen in my life. Like, not bad.
Yep.
I remember, okay, so we were watching the Oscars. Did you watch them?
No, because if I did at this point, I'd be a massive hypocrite because I complain about the Oscars nonstop. So if I watched them, I would be a hypocrite. And I was a hypocrite last year, but I wasn't going to be a hypocrite this year.
I think I bombed in on the Oscars last year, and I was like, this sucks. That's right, yeah, because Neil Patrick Harris was the host, and he was horrible.
It's also kind of unavoidable for guys like us who so much of our career involves us being plugged into social media and the internet, where it's like, even if you don't watch them, you feel like you're watching them.
It's true, and I did watch them. I was watching the Oscars the other night, and I enjoyed it for the most part. There were some things that were like, nah. Obviously, it was heavily political. Mm-hmm. And it was.
Which I like that Chris Rock owned that. I didn't watch the show, but I was sure the next day to watch Chris Rock's opening monologue. That was good.
Yes, Chris Rock tackled it from one angle, and the Oscars tackled it from another, where they're like, the Oscars are like, no, we're not racist. Look at all the black presenters we have. And then they
tackle it from another angle. They were like, la 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 la.
And then they ended it with a rap song.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, it ended on like a 90s rap song. I'm like, really? Wow. How much more obvious can you be?
Ended on a 90s rap song, but didn't nominate anything from Straight Outta Compton.
Now, that said, like, is it because Straight Outta Compton was, like, great and snubbed? Is it because Hollywood's inherently racist? I can't say. Didn't see the movie. But
it was pretty good.
There were a lot of movies that I didn't see.
It's a pretty good biopic.
I you know what's funny? Like, if Straight Outta Compton is halfway decent, then it should probably have trumped Brooklyn, which I didn't see also. But from all the things that I'd watched, read, and heard about, it looked a lot like a Nicholas Sparks movie.
But in a different era. You know who loved Brooklyn? You know who gave a glowing review of Brooklyn?
No.
My grandma. When my grandma came over, my grandma was all about Brooklyn.
I was gonna say, like, Reader's Digest liked Brooklyn, because it was just this poor Irish girl. She's from Ireland, and she moves to Brooklyn back when it was white, and she loved it, and she fell in love with a boy, but she's got to go back to Ireland. And
an Italian guy she fell in love with.
That's right. And what's she gonna do? Like, what's she gonna do? How about make up her fucking mind and end the movie? Like, who gives a shit? Nobody cares. But in any case, I was like, really, Brooklyn? Like, best actress?
There's one every year in the Oscars. There's always one every year. There's always a Brooklyn. There's always like, how the hell did this one get in here?
The one that, for me, the one that it will always be, the one that is Brooklyn for me every time, is Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, yeah.
Where I'm like, best picture? Really? Best picture. The best picture of the year.
Of all the movies.
Of all the films is this fake bullshit story with Gwyneth Paltrow doing a fake accent and Ben Affleck doing a fake accent, and this bullshit horse crap story that is not anywhere near as decent as one of Shakespeare's actual adaptations.
It's so funny too that there's always a certain type of Oscar movie, and I always say the real thing for these movies is their staying power, because so many of the movies that get nominated for Best Picture have zero staying power. Remember The King's Speech?
Oh yeah, I remember it only because I remember seeing it as an Oscar. I was like, this is an Oscar movie right here. Well, like, who's gonna remember the one that won Best Picture this year? Fucking the Silence, or whatever the hell it was called. Spotlight. Thank you. I mean, like,
what was Spotlight about? Was that the one about the priest?
It was about the Catholic Church, and it was
Best.
Basically the Woodward
It was an
Bernstein
extra
movie.
long MSNBC episode.
It was basically all the President's Men, but with but about the priests instead. Right. And it's like, like, look, is it powerful? Is it important? Is it great that they put a spotlight on it? Like, yes. Did it deserve Best Picture? Fuck no.
I liked it better when it was the movie Doubt, which was Doubt nominated. That was Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I think Doubt was nominated for something, but it certainly didn't get it.
Of course it did. I think Doubt was a much stronger movie.
Yeah. Now, we're talking about the Oscars because if you're just joining us, we're talking about our favorite movies of 2015. Right now, we're just kind of bitching about the Oscars and how there were
Because
things.
Why not?
But before we get into our favorites, I have this list in front of me, I'm sure you do as well, of the movies that came out in 2015, or at least some of the more notable ones. Let's talk about...
I made a whole video last year. Near Christmas time for my favorite movies of the year. I don't remember what I put on it for the most part, but I remember I made a video.
Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about some of the movies that we actively avoided and didn't watch. And now I'm not talking about the ones we didn't catch, just ones where I was like, no.
No, that's a good idea. I like this. Let's do that. Let's give an award for that. These are the snubbies. These are the movies we snubbed in 2015.
The snubbies. I like that. The first annual ComicPOP Elseworlds Exchange snubbies.
First of many. Someone draw us a trophy, please.
Yes. First one up, I have to say, has to be Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, yep. Skip that one, too.
Completely skipped it. I was like, oh, this looks fucking by the numbers as shit.
Channing Tatum is a dog man, and Mila Kunis is the princess of space.
Right, and that was also the Wachowski people.
It was the Wachowskis, and it was kind of the moment where everyone collectively went, what the hell is happening to you, Wachowskis?
They were just like, okay, that's enough. I think that was when America collectively said in one voice, that's enough, Wachowskis. You are now that of M. Night Shyamalan. When I see your name on something, I will actively avoid it.
It's funny because the year before that they had, what was the one about reincarnation and Tom Hanks and everything?
Oh my God, was that Cloud Atlas?
Cloud Atlas, which Rick and Morty makes fun of Cloud Atlas.
Yes, they do.
That was another movie where I'm like, I will see this at some point because I know people were feeling very important feelings about it. I'm like, I will watch it and I will come up with my own feelings. And then I didn't.
Yep, and I will never watch it.
Some truths are the true.
That was what was so funny. When I saw the trailer for Jupiter Ascending, I said, didn't this come out already? Because I literally thought it was Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas 2, Electric Cloudaloo.
Yeah. Okay, so Jupiter Ascending, know nothing about it. Who gives a shit? It's the end of the Wachowskis for me.
Mm-hmm. If I can pitch one there,
yeah, please.
Minions. I have completely missed this whole Despicable Me Minions hype train, and really, I think 2016 was the year the Minions kind of took over the world. If Facebook posts from my uncool aunt are any indication.
I saw Minions.
Did you?
Not because I think they're hilarious.
Not because you're a total Minions faithful with your lighter. Yeah, Minions.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't have a Tumblr. I'm not a 14-year-old girl, nor am I a 60-year-old aunt. So I did not have any interest in seeing Minions, but I was visiting a friend of mine out of town, and his wife insisted that we go catch the double feature of Minions and Inside Out. So we just watched those two movies. And
you gotta take the sour with the sweet, that's fine.
Yeah, Minions is horseshit, and they're crap. I think that Minions was originally a concept that... I think it started out where there was a pitch for, like, a Minions thing. Like, there was going to be a Minions movie, and they couldn't...
The thing is, Max Landis explains this in a video he did, where it's like, the Minions were never supposed to be part of Despicable Me. The Minions have floated around Hollywood forever, and it's like, when the writer of Despicable Me came in, which was yet another project that stuck around forever, the higher-ups were like, but can you put Minions in this? To which the writer was like, sure.
Yes, I can put these little Tic Tacs in your movie. And
because when you're a screenwriter in Hollywood, when someone asks you, can you do blank, the answer is always yes.
Yeah. And so they did, and you know what? I dug Despicable Me. And I'll tell you why. It had nothing to do with the fucking Minions. So seeing that movie and watching these Minions going like, oh, I'm like, okay, no. And it was 80 minutes of no.
With their little nonsense language. And
except when they're speaking Spanish or saying banana.
People like that.
What are you doing? Like, what is this? And like, it's funny. I was talking about this earlier, and I was like, poor Sandra Bullock was in this movie where she has to like.
Oh, she was the villain, wasn't
she? She was the villain, and then someone said, "Poor Sandra Bullock. She got to read a script into a microphone in sweatpants and was paid fuckloads of money for it." No,
paid by the word, no doubt.
No, fuck Sandra Bullock, and I'm like, right on, fuck everybody involved in that movie.
Did you know, pound for pound, Minions merchandise, which is everywhere now, you can't get away from it.
Yep.
Makes more than Star Wars and the Avengers put together.
Of course it does. I will say the only thing of Minions that I would buy is that fart gun. Every time I see it at the Target, I pick it up and I point at Tiffany and I make it fart at her. And every time she's like, "Don't buy that." And I look at it and I see the $25 price tag and I don't buy it. But if it were $5, it would be a fixture on the show.
I'm sure you would be blasting everyone with the fart.
It would be hilarious.
Just, from a heartless marketing standpoint, the Minions make sense. They're these little adorable, gender-neutral, almost
race-neutral.
Yeah, race-neutral, SpongeBobian kind of things who do old-timey Looney Tunes gags.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Fuck Minions. But I did see it.
But I did see it.
I did see it, and I was right to not want to see it.
I missed the train completely. I feel like one of these days I need to actually go and watch Despicable Me because that's the one people like.
It's nice. I didn't see the second one because I'm like, okay, Shrek 2, no thanks.
Don't Shrek this up now. Which, ironically, Shrek 2 is really good in its own right.
I like Shrek 2 better than I expected. Shrek 3 is garbage.
Shrek 3 is garbage. Shrek 4, Shrek Goes Forth, which is the one where they basically just do It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one too, and that sucks on toast.
It did suck, and yet it was a weird kind of like, okay, we really fucked up that last one, so what do we do? Well, you're out of ideas when you do the It's a Wonderful Life story.
But they didn't even go out of their way to do anything. Like, the thing to do, because, like, Shrek babies are ugly.
Yes, they are.
And they suck.
Yes, they do.
When you have, like, a fun protagonist, the last thing you want to do is give them 6 children that are each individually like a little nuclear explosion on your franchise.
You make them Al Bundy. You give them dad problems. And is that like really what you want to see for your cool hero? Now they have dad problems. No, you
don't. But that said, okay, that sucks. Then you have this It's a Wonderful Life thing where Shrek gets to go back in time. Mm-hmm. And
to relive his time as an ogre, which is just him terrorizing people. I'm like, wait, but I thought in the first movie you went out of your way to be like, I don't really terrorize people, they just get the wrong opinion of me.
Yes. The thing that they should have done, the thing that make it actually fun would have been, okay, the It's a Wonderful Life thing is if you weren't there, Princess Fiona would not have been rescued, and Farquaad's people would have gone to get her.
Right.
And then Farquaad would have taken over, and then you show a cracked mirror version of Shrek 1 where Farquaad's in charge and you bring back your greatest villain,
John Lithgow, yeah.
And that would at least be fun to watch. The thing that they put on screen for that was garbage. Yeah, now we're talking about Shrek. Anyway, but Despicable Me was the movie that I was like, I don't want to see this because I'm sure it's Shrek.
Now, it's funny, as the chat is saying there, the Puss in Boots movie. Yeah, Puss in Boots movie, better than it had any right to be.
I heard it was. I'm no.
Dude, Galifianakis plays Humpty Dumpty, and he's pretty good.
That's funny.
That is funny. That is good. And it's a heist movie. It's a heist movie for kids.
It should be. I mean, like, he's a thief. That makes sense. That's great.
They try and rob, like, the giant castle in the clouds to get the goose that lays the golden eggs, and it's all, like, Ocean's 11-y.
That's
but
cool.
For kids and fairy tales. It's way smarter than it had any right to be.
It's funny. Here's another movie that I didn't see that they really, really wanted me to. And by they, I mean the marketing teams. Pan.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot that was the thing.
Now, if Pan were Hook 2, which is a pitch that Ethan and I have been working on for a few years, I would have gone to see it like twice. But Pan, no.
I don't even really know what Pan is. It's like
Pan was a
darker
prequel
retelling
where
of
it's
Peter
like
Pan?
it's Peter Pan and he's like a friend of Hook and the two of them like work together and it's a prequel. Well, yeah, we know that Captain Hook is a bad guy, but what was his prequel story?
It's Maleficent, but for Peter Pan.
It's every crappy prequel. It's every like
It's Victor Frankenstein, but for Pan.
Victor Frankenstein.
I watched Victor Frankenstein the other night because I caught it somewhere.
That's another movie that I didn't see.
It's very mediocre. It's like, wow, you had like a couple good ideas here that you did nothing with. Good job.
Yeah. No.
Also, hey, Harry Potter kid, glad to see you're getting work.
Right? I mean, he's gonna, but like, it didn't have to be that.
And again, dude, it's so messed up, Victor Frankenstein. Let me just spoil the ending for this movie. So that movie ends with them creating a monster, creating like Frankenstein. You're like, wait, so this is the moment? So the prequel ends with them doing it, only for them to go, psych, this isn't actually the monster building from the movie. We'll do that in a couple of years, or from like the original. We'll do that later.
That sucks and is also kind of brave.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. That's kind of cool. It's weird. What's another one that you didn't see?
I'm actually looking here at the whole big list of them. Here's one I didn't see because, the terrible reviews scared me away. Spectre, James Bond.
Me too! Didn't see Spectre! But then again, I haven't wanted to see a James Bond movie in a while. Like, I don't really dig Daniel Craig. I liked Casino Royale.
Casino Royale was great.
I skipped Quantum of Solace because...
Quantum of Solace is the worst one. Literally nothing happens for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, I remember it was during the writer's strike. Daniel Craig came up with the title, and I was like, okay, so there's no authors, and you're asking the fucking actor
to come up with
your goddamn James Bond title, and he comes up with a bad one. Like, okay, no. And from what I understand,
Quantum of Solace
totally
also
okay.
suffered from like way too many villains. There was like an evil Steve Jobs eco-terrorist guy and like a South American general, and I'm like, yeah, you guys are funny.
That sounds...
and the final fight is like in a solar farm in the desert.
That sounds a lot like a Pierce Brosnan Bond movie.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And here's the fight. It was so bad, they barely make any reference to it in the next one, Skyfall, which Skyfall is pretty good.
I liked Skyfall a lot. I thought that was a really solid movie. But again, I was like, cool, Spectre, and then just didn't get around to it, and I fear I'm all the better for it.
The thing about Spectre, too, the thing that totally scared me away is like, guys, they try and make an Avengers franchise out of James Bond.
Yeah, don't
with
do
Spectre
that. Here, hang on
by
a second.
basically saying, hey, all these hanging plot threads that didn't make any sense in the last couple ones? Well, guess what? Blofeld did it.
I mean, like, yes, he did, but all right.
Also, Blofeld is James Bond's secret brother that you never knew about.
Yeah, we saw that from the trailer.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a terrible kept. It's the Khan situation. It's Khan with Star Trek all over again.
And it's funny because, like, speaking of Khan, like, I didn't even really care that they changed Khan, although technically they changed time in Star Trek 2009 after Khan had already been established, so there's no reason for Khan to not be Ricardo Montalban. But fine if you're going to do that, but don't pretend that it's not Khan, and then
don't pretend it's not Blofeld too, which they did.
We all knew it was Blofeld. Don't fucking pretend. Like, don't be stupid.
Don't insult our intelligence as fans. Also, did you think in a movie called Spectre, the leader of fucking Spectre might show up at some point?
Yeah, and it's like you cast the best actor working today to be the head of Spectre. Do you think you're not gonna make him the head of Spectre? Like, yeah, we and by the way, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with me knowing what's gonna happen. Like, will the Avengers triumph and defeat Loki? Fucking yeah, I'm still going. Like, another movie that I avoided was Terminator Genisys.
Genoisis. Yeah, I stayed away from this one too. I'm so done with Terminator.
I am so angry and here's the thing. I've been done with Terminator longer than longer than a lot of people because I was so jazzed for Terminator 3 because I'm a huge Terminator fan. I grew up watching the first one and then the second one. I loved the franchise, loved the concept, and Terminator 2 allows a lot of like the plot holes that you have in 3, 4, 5 to exist because you buy that the Terminators, if you really quick rundown of Terminator, in the future in 2029, John Connor beats the Terminators and their contingency plan is send a Terminator back in time to kill the mom. Fine. Terminator 2 is, but before they did that, They sent another one. They sent two. They sent two Terminators, and like number 2 kind of retcons. Like actually, they just sent 2 Terminators, and we're only seeing the first part in Terminator 1. In Terminator 2, it's like they sent the usual killing machine back, and then they sent the prototype that they only have one of to 1980 whatever to kill John Connor at age 11.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, like right, like that's within the realm of feasibility. That a machine would be like, put a redundancy drive in, like, you know, send another Terminator in another time just in case we fuck up. It is a fucking robot that like really has stilted movement. We get it. That's fine. But then you make 3 where they say, you know, the whole point of no fate in the second one? Yeah, no, there is fate.
We lied about that.
There is fate because we need money and fuck you. And
you did not stop Judgment Day. You only postponed it.
Yeah, no. There's
Judgment Day is inevitable.
It's inevitable. And then it is. At least they blew up the fucking world at the end of 3. I appreciated that.
At least they had the balls to do that.
Yeah, then 4 is like, whatever, let's not talk about 4. And then they made Genesis.
4 is Christian Bale yelling at that lighting guy. That's the best thing to come out of it.
Best thing to come out of it was, you are trashing my scene!
It's fucking distracting.
It's, you're like, da-da-da-da-da. If you haven't heard Christian Bale yell at this guy.
Remix of him just doing that, da-da-da-da, that's the chorus.
If you have never seen or heard Christian Bale freaking out at this lighting guy, who is, by the way, kind of a douche, like,
both
check
guys
it
are at
out.
fault.
It's in crystal clear sound. You can hear him and Mick G and Bryce Dallas Howard all just uncomfortably deal with Christian Bale freaking out.
It's good. It's really
amazing. It's the best thing about that movie. But then you make Terminator 4, and they're like, no one said yes except Arnold. So we're just changing and ficking everything.
That's sad, too, that we continue have to pulling out Arnold for every Terminator movie now. It's like, no, they're only as good if, you know, Arnold is in them, even though he's old and fat and slow and everything. It's like, just stop.
Now, the fact is, I get the idea. I'm okay with the concept of the living tissue ages. That's fine with me. But
because it is living tissue.
Because it's living tissue. That's fine.
It's gonna age.
But fuck you, because everything else is stupid. Like, that one idea doesn't excuse everything else, like making the T-1000 a totally different skin, or recasting Sarah Connor, or going back, or unforgivably casting Jai Courtney.
Yeah, that's a sin.
He is the worst. He needs to go away.
He needs to go away if Suicide Squad is bad. If he does Captain Boomerang good, and I get this funny feeling he might, because he just gets to play a crazy Australian, which he is.
He can be Captain Boomerang, but that's it, because he ruined Die Hard.
I forgot he was in Die Hard.
That's because he's basically a Hollywood stem cell, where you just tell him to be whatever you want. The problem is he's also really bad at it.
He is Sam Worthington, he's
the new
V2.
Sam Worthington. He's the new Sam Worthington, where it's like, I have an indecipherable accent, but it's clearly not from the United States, and I'm an American.
You're a tough guy with a shaved head and everything.
Get the fuck out of here. Go be in Avatar 3.
Whenever that comes out.
When that comes out in Judgment Day.
Yeah, on actual Judgment Day, we can finally see Avatar 2, Electric Avatar Aloo.
I also avoided Ted 2. Don't need to talk about that. I think we all know why.
God, dude, I saw like the first half of Ted 2 before I shut it off, because I really liked the first Ted. I thought that was a cute, interesting idea. You could tell this was something McFarlane wanted to do for a while.
Yeah.
Ted 2 is every horrible sequel like trope. The fact that they write Mila Kunis out of it, despite the fact that her and John's relationship was such a huge driving force of the first movie, that they just write her out and they're like, yeah, she's gone now.
Weak.
The fact that you could tell that the only reason McFarlane came back is like, I'll do it, but I get more money and I get to do whatever I want for Ted 2. Like, fine, whatever. So he opens with like a big, elaborate Hollywood dance number.
Of course he does!
So I'm like, so you're just doing all your bad habits, from Family Guy. Also, the fact that several jokes and several of the set pieces are literally recycled from episodes of Family Guy.
In the trailer there were jokes. I'm like, I saw that joke when you made it 10 years ago.
There was 3 of those in the trailer, and I'm like, this does not bode well for this movie.
You can't assume that we didn't see Family Guy. Fucking Jesus Christ.
It's weak sauce, and the only way it's not the worst thing McFarlane has done is because he did 1,000 Ways to, or 100 Ways to Die in the West, or whatever the hell that one was.
Right, and I also didn't see that.
I did. It's hypnotically horrible.
That's amazing. It looks fucking awful.
In that movie, a man shits in a hat, like, visually, not once but twice.
Awesome.
That's the movie. And Liam Neeson sleepwalks through the whole performance, which
Yeah.
he only took. He said, look, I'll do this movie, but only if I get to be Irish, and I'm not doing a goddamn American accent for this. So he's inexplicably Irish through the whole movie.
That's funny?
Also, Doc Brown shows up in it for some reason.
I saw it in the
For, like,
trailer.
a
That
cutaway
ruined
show.
the trailer. Like, that ruined the movie, because I was almost going to see it.
It makes less sense when you actually see it in the movie.
Well, yeah, because there's no reason... Well, because they're in a different location. They're not in California.
Yeah.
They're not... No.
Yeah. And the fact that McFarlane's like, no, I'm going to cast myself, and I'm going to, have a relationship with this beautiful woman. I'm like, yeah.
Not only that, but it's like, I'm going to act like a time traveler.
Yeah, for no reason.
But I'm from here.
But I'm going to make all these references and talk in a way I couldn't possibly.
And legitimately try and, like, argue that he has a character arc, like, that needs to go through change. Like, fuck you.
Also, hey, like Western comedies, stop trying to do Blazing Saddles. It already
It's
exists,
over, and it's still
and it's already
great.
great. Yeah, it still holds up, so please stop trying to do Blazing Saddles all over again.
Yeah.
Man, we've had a lot of terrible Western comedies in a row. 1,000 Ways to Die in the West, and that Adam Sandler ridiculous 6.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that
At
either.
least that didn't have to go to theaters,
Yes.
you know?
You had the delight of skipping over it in your Netflix queue.
Yeah, over and over again, even though a lot of people chose not to skip it because it was the most watched thing in Netflix history.
That sucks.
Yeah.
A movie that I missed. This isn't something I deliberately skipped. This is just I missed it, and it's because I don't know why. It wasn't high on my priority list, but it was on Tiffany's, and I feel bad because I never took her to see it. That would be The Man from U.N.C.L.E. because she liked that show. And I heard good things that I don't really know.
With Armie Hammer and Guy Ritchie. I didn't hear good things
And
about
Henry
it. I hear more
Cavill.
people. Henry Cavill, that's, the man who would be Superman yet who leaves no impression.
Yep, exactly.
The man who is slowly and surely being downplayed in his own sequel as everyone's like, no, but Batman, though, everybody.
Yeah. No thanks.
No, you don't get a sequel.
That's right.
You don't get a freaking sequel. We need Batman to come in and hold your goddamn hand, Henry Cavill. And Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah, and Wonder Woman.
Everyone else.
You can't even support your own sequel. We got 2 fucking people.
To come and help you out.
Did you see The Walk?
What was that one about?
The guy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, walks between the Twin Towers.
Oh, no, but it sounds like something I would catch at some point.
I saw that, I was like, no.
No.
They're like, you won't believe it! He walks between... I'm like, yeah, he did it. He did that.
I've watched people actually do that in real life on YouTube and stuff, and that's pretty fun for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would watch a whole movie about it.
Did you see The Good Dinosaur?
No, I had a chance to see The Good Dinosaur, and I saw something else, even though it's Pixar, and Pixar is really good. I'll probably see it at some point.
I didn't, because I don't care. I was like, I don't give a fuck about your dumb dinosaur movie.
Also, they had Inside Out that year, so I mean, they set the bar really high for themselves. They're like, this doesn't look like it's going to be as good as Inside Out.
It's not on the napkin. It wasn't on the napkin. This is a fucking concept that's like, how about
with Pixar, you got to go back to the napkin.
Yeah.
All their amazing ideas were from one lunch where they scribbled it down on a napkin.
Yeah. I'm also in the minority. I really didn't like Inside Out.
Did you not really?
I really didn't.
Is it because your heart is cold and dark and
No,
you don't
I
love
was
Bing Bong?
No, I felt it manipulating me. It was the first time I was like, this is a series of traps and tricks and writing prompts, and you just deliberately tricked me on a premise that doesn't really hold water.
So a movie about emotions turned out to be emotionally manipulative.
That's how it felt to me. And that was part of the twofer. I was like, okay, finally we're at the fucking Pixar movie, and I'm watching. I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of the things that are happening here. And like, it's just more and more confounding the more you think about it. Like, so are the emotions in charge of her, or is she in charge of them? And if so, why are they sentient? Like, what? Like, it was a really high concept idea that I don't think worked like in execution. Clearly, the world disagrees with me. So fuck me, right? But the fact is, I still stand by. I'm like, I did not like this, and I don't think it will stand the test of time.
I'm not sure, man. I think a lot of people really dug on that one really hard. I mean, Lewis Black as Anger Man. What great casting was that?
See, for me, I felt that was lazy casting. I was like, oh, what a relevant thing to do in 2003.
Lewis Black needs to be J. Jonah Jameson if they can't get the other guy back. It needs to be Lewis Black. Parker, give me pictures of Spider-Man.
Oh my god!
Just flipping tables. How good with it, dude? Marvel, Disney. That one's free. Go get Lewis Black. That one's free. He's the only person I will accept who is not the original.
Yeah, I would. It's funny. I saw J.K. Simmons at the Oscars, and I was like, he looks a little old.
Yeah.
Like almost a little too old to be JJ. I hope not. Whoever they get, my pick, by the way, for JJ, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I could see that too. He's got a pretty good yell on him.
Like if you're looking for an actor, if you're looking for a name, that's the name I pick. But like if you want somebody great, go find somebody. And I don't know, so go look for him. But you know.
As the chat saying Inside Out, just a rip off of Herman's head. I'm like, wow, someone remembered Herman's head.
Yeah. The other thing that I missed, it's another one that I wanted to see, but missed, Tomorrowland.
Missed that one, too.
It for me, I'm like, oh no, another Tron, where it's like, hey, we own this, and we were making it before we bought all the Marvel stuff, so here...
That was Brad Bird, right, who did that?
I think so.
I remember I read a whole article where it's like, the... what's the word? The Ayn Randian themes in all of Brad Bird's work. And I'm like, yeah, I guess there is a lot of objectivist themes in his stuff, isn't there?
Yeah.
And Tomorrowland is literally a city where the smart and best of humanity are allowed to thrive without, people getting in their shit. I'm like, oh, so it's Rapture from BioShock.
Exactly.
Without the horrible shit that happens in Rapture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, minus the dystopia. That's cool, though. I would like to see that, see how it goes. A movie that I deliberately skipped, and I'm sure you did too, was Everest.
Everest. I forgot Everest was even a thing.
It was a movie that I remember seeing a trailer for and being like, holy fuck! They climb a mountain like they do in real life! Oh! I'm like, no, I don't fucking want to watch that shit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pass.
I'm not much for any of those.
No.
I think the last wilderness survival movie I saw was The Grey, because it was Liam Neeson punching wolves with broken bottles.
That's what they fucking tried to sell you, but that's not what The Grey is.
No, it's more Jack London-y man versus nature. We're all animals.
Yeah, that movie is either it's man versus nature or it's they're dead.
They were dead all along, and this is their purgatory.
No matter what, it's horrible. And I don't mean horrible like poorly executed. It's beautiful and fucking sucks because it's like Requiem for a Dream. Like nobody throws that on.
The guy who did that was the same guy who did Smokin' Aces and Narc. I really like his work.
That's cool.
Oh, and he did the underrated A-Team movie too.
I will go on. I like A-Team.
Yeah, A-Team is a fun movie. That came out the same year as The Expendables and another Man on a Mission movie, and I think A-Team is better.
People were like, the tank doesn't, that's so stupid. I'm like, the whole movie's stupid. The whole show is stupid. Yeah, it's called A-Team. Fucking Liam Neeson plays an American Army general. He doesn't sound a thing like an American. Yeah, no. It's fun and stupid.
We're showing a lot of Liam Neeson love and hate this episode, aren't we?
I know, right? I love Liam Neeson, but...
He's great.
He's great. But I liked A-Team. Fuck everybody.
I like A-Team, too. I think A-Team is everything The Expendables should have been.
That's right. The other movie I missed, Creed. I wanted to see it. I missed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Creed is really good, and not only is it really good in its own right, but it's also a really good sequel to the Rocky franchise, which is weird to say because Rocky Balboa ended it so well. It's like, okay, now you never have to make another one. Oh, you made another one, and it's pretty good.
I hear good things, and I just really wanted to catch it. I like Michael B. Jordan. I think that Sylvester Stallone clearly has the chops to be nominated for an Academy Award, as he was in this. But I missed it.
What's great about Creed is they really do put the emphasis back on Philadelphia and saying how, cool. This kid Adonis Creed needs to become the hero for a modern day Philadelphia in the same way Rocky Balboa was a hero for 70s.
I like that idea. And
a lot. The community really lifts him up and everything, kind of makes them their champion. And it's funny too, even the guy he fights, because how every Rocky movie is only as strong as its villain. Ironically, there's not much of a strong focus on the villain. He's a British fighter. He's like a Ricky Hatton guy who's going to jail because he's a super screw up, and he like got caught with a gun at a bar and everything. So now this is my last fight before I go to jail. I need to feed my kids with one last purse.
Oh shit, that's fucking rough.
Yeah,
so it's not a good versus evil kind of thing, which is actually very distinctly Rocky. Like you never. It isn't until the franchise goes to shit that the boxer, that the antagonist boxer is a bad guy, like is a cartoon character.
The funny thing too is that if you remember, or no, I guess because you didn't see the movie, you won't remember it. The most interesting thing about Creed is constantly they say, you know, oh Adonis, your father, you know, Apollo, he died in the ring, he died for the sport, he died in the ring. Never once did they mention Drago or anything from Rocky.
No, the only thing they need to do is reference that he died. But 4
if you did, then the movie gets silly, where it's like, you know, your father died in the ring. He got punched by a super Russian. Then Rocky had to go to the Soviet Union and defeat communism.
Exactly. He punched communism in the face, and the crowd, made of communist Russians, applauded him.
Yeah, if I can change, we can change. Anyone can change.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
No, you cartoon movie.
But that's why for Creed 2, we need to find out that Ivan Drago had a son, and now Creed needs to go to Russia to do battle with that guy's son.
That would be amazing.
And here's how you spin it, too. Because obviously we know from real-life history what Russia did to their failed sports stars. So let's actually see an old, beaten-down Dolph Lundgren who's like, you ruined my life, Rocky.
And he can actually kind of do it. Like, he also, number one, he looks like he's been living in a Siberian prison camp for the last 10 years. And two, like, he's an articulate, intelligent person. He might, like, sound bizarre, but, like, he's fucking, he could actually probably pull that off. He would probably pay to do that, to be like, you mean I get to do that thing that, like, Mickey Rourke did in Iron Man 2?
Yep.
By the way, missed opportunity there. Could have gotten fucking Dolph Lundgren.
Plus, you can dig up, who was the woman in that? The one who dated Flavor Flav for a bit?
Oh, you mean in Creed?
She was Red Sonja too, the actress. Oh God, why am I blanking on her name? You could dig her up for the sequel too, because she was like Bridget Nielsen. Thank you.
Okay.
You could dig up Bridget Nielsen for that, and how fun would that be to get to see her now? Because she also looks like she's lived in a Siberian prison camp.
I did not know that. Okay, another one that I missed. Just totally missed. Didn't get a chance to see it again because Tiffany was like, you gotta see it, we gotta watch this. And I was like, oops. The Martian.
Also missed it. Also on my list.
I hear that Matt Damon is Matt Damon and he doesn't do anything special or interesting, but the movie's kind of fun.
Everyone loves it because apparently it's a movie all about, you know, the merits of scientific exploration. It's like more Fantastic Four than the Fantastic Four movie we got this year.
I like that idea, and I like Ridley Scott. He makes great-looking movies.
Yeah,
I say that because, you know, not all of them are great, but they do.
I'm
look
sure
really
people
good.
are like, oh, this makes me forget about Prometheus for a little bit.
Yeah, although I like Prometheus. And I'm
Prometheus
an Alien
is
fan.
fine until it becomes an Alien prequel.
It's supposed to be an Alien prequel.
I know, and that's the problem.
It's supposed to be an Alien prequel. That's the only reason I'm watching this fucking movie, is for it to be an Alien prequel, and then they ended it and didn't make it the Alien prequel. They're fucking supposed to be on LV-426. The ship that crashes is supposed to be the ship that they find when they like look for it in Aliens. Fucking in Alien and Aliens. Fucking Christ. And then they're like, no, I want to go back where we came from. Fucking shut up. Take Data's head and get the fuck out of here and fly to the sun. That's so stupid.
Man, some people are going to get that Data's head joke and others won't.
Yeah. Fucking... By the way, if you look at Prometheus as a Blade Runner sequel, then it's pretty good, because that movie is more about robots than it is about humanity. That movie is about robots being forced to go look for God. Which, think about that for a second. A robot being forced to help you look for God. They're like, first of all, there is no God. Second of all, you're my God. And third of all, if you're looking for God, that means that my God is an insecure loser. And that means that I have no God. And what does that mean for me? Like, that's a cool concept that they never
or
fucking
to put
explore.
it more simply, do androids dream of electric
Exactly. So that was another movie that I completely skipped. But I guess we could talk about movies that we did see.
Sure.
Jurassic World was kind of fun.
See, I skipped Jurassic
What?
World. I am not that big a Jurassic Park fan. Like, I saw the original way after the fact, and I'm like, yeah, this is a really good movie.
Yeah, it's not great. Like, it's not like, holy shit, this movie fucking changed me. Neither did Jurassic Park. Like, I grew up watching it, but I didn't like. It wasn't the second coming for me. I was like, okay, cool. Terminator 2's better. Like, whatever.
Nature always finds a way.
Yeah,
Sal.
there's cool stuff in there. My friend Ethan is just loves Jurassic Park, and it has.
Hammond is a great character.
Oh my god, there's a lot of great characters in that movie. Like, Jurassic Park's solid. Jurassic World is for me, it's a no-brainer. It's like, how do you fuck up a Jurassic Park sequel? You can do it twice.
But only twice.
But only twice. Well, no, they'll do it again. But like, there's so many things that you can really like it's just like, no shit can you fucking make a good Jurassic Park movie. Jurassic World had a lot of neat ideas, neat themes. I love the Jimmy Fallon bit, because there's a scene in there where like Jimmy Fallon plays like a celebrity tour guide on their virtual tour, and he's like, oh, and he's just exactly as unfunny and terrible as he is in real life, and so that was
that's good.
And that translated so well.
Does he look directly into the camera and laugh?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, no,
he's perfect.
He is exactly as terrible as every day of his life. But I kind of dug it. I thought it was fun. Plus, you get a cool dinosaur fight at the end
with a super dinosaur. It's like, what's cooler than dinosaurs? A genetically modified dinosaur that's like 4 dinosaurs taped together.
Not only that. See, okay, they do that, right? They fucking make their stupid robot, or they're not their stupid robot, but their stupid clone dinosaur. They bring out the T-Rex from the first movie, and he fights the dinosaur.
Nice.
And like people said like, no, it's just a T-Rex. First of all, we don't know how long dinosaurs live. I don't know, probably 25 years, 30 years. Who cares? The point being, he had all the scratches on its body from the raptor attack from the first movie. It's clearly the T-Rex from the first movie, which even if you don't really care about the franchise, as kind of a nerd and a comic book fan, it's like, all right, that's stupid and fun. And the fucking raptors and the T-Rex like look at each other and they go like, yeah, and they bro fist, and then they go attack the I-Rex.
That sounds like something I would scrawl like in my school notebook growing up. And then the raptors and the T-Rexes team up to fight the super dinosaur.
That's exactly what they do. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
What's the movie that you saw?
Also, that series continues Chris Pratt's, rise to just being new, like new It movie guy, like being the new Harrison Ford.
I feel like Chris Pratt is, every, I guess, 5 or 10 years, Hollywood's like, okay, here's a generic white guy, throw him at the screen, but then they accidentally grab Chris Pratt, who has personality and dignity, and he fucking got thrown at the screen, and suddenly it worked, unlike Jai Courtney or Sam Worthington. It was like, Chris Pratt's like, whoa, me? All right, I can work out, I'll be Star-Lord, that works for me.
Like, Pratt gives me hope because he was the comedy fat guy on a TV show for years. Then he slimmed down, got muscly, got awesome.
Yep.
And now he's new Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great.
Gives me hope that we can all do that someday.
That if a doughy guy from Parks and Rec can become an action star, maybe I can too.
Maybe I can too. Just one day, just hope. I can hope for it.
Yeah. We liked Ant-Man. Ant-Man was cool.
Ant-Man was good. Ant-Man was good, and I think it was even better given all, the behind-the-scenes stuff that we were privy to, where it's like, oh, well, you guys actually pulled it out and managed to make something pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and after all the controversy of like, oh my god, fucking Scott Pilgrim is leaving, and what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Like,
continued to make a movie with this Disney infrastructure that we have.
Yeah, it's fun. I had a good time. It was really cool.
Yeah. Really funny movie. I think Michael Pena steals that show. I like Luis so much. Like, can we put Luis in the comics? I think he would fit in perfectly.
Easily. Luis, at least give him one of those like Marvel one-shot like shorts like they do.
Please.
I mean, they basically did in the movie itself.
You know what you do? You put Luis in the comics, and his deal is he has a power armor, which is literally just his van that becomes a power armor. That's what I would write. And Nick Spencer's probably like, I got some pitches for Luis if I have to.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
And he's going to be hanging out with Ant-Man for like the rest of the movies. Like, he'll probably get it. Imagine Luis getting to interact with the Avengers. How funny that would be.
I kind of want to see that. I wonder if he'll be in Civil War. I doubt it.
Just a cameo, just him on the phone.
Yeah.
But plus, it's Michael Pena, and I genuinely love Michael Pena. He is a really underrated performer.
He is.
Who's always putting in his dues.
Yeah. Obviously, Avengers came out in 2015.
That's right, it did, Age of Ultron.
It was cool. I had a good time.
Cool.
I liked it more the second time.
Yeah.
The first time I was like, what?
There's a lot going in. There's a lot to take into that movie. And, I think it'll always be the, like, New Hope versus Empire Strikes Back of type of conversation where it's like, which one's better? Well, this one's a little less focused, but this one is a little longer, and this one does this and this one does that, and you're not really wrong on any account.
For me, the problem with Age of Ultron is not that there are too many characters. Marvel has a lot of characters, and in every book there's a million of them, and it works really well when it works
comic
really
readers
well.
have no problems reading for. I mean, geez, I read Avengers Standoff today, and there's like a million characters.
Exactly. I think the problem is Whedon. I think the problem was that Whedon was restless and unhappy with what he was doing. He didn't like working for a corporate machine.
The passion wasn't there.
Because I think Ultron is him. I think that Ultron is all the things that Whedon feels about comic books and comic book movie franchises.
Huh.
Because if you ever see Whedon in an interview, he talks and acts just like him.
It's that line where he says, but you don't want to change.
You don't want to change. You want to make a big multi-billion-dollar franchise, but you don't want to change.
That's interesting.
Just him, like, with his whole, like, weird religion obsession. I felt like it was like, we have enough great sci-fi AI concepts in the zeitgeist. You, Joss Whedon, are not going to invent a new one. Just use something that works and do something interesting and groundbreaking. Ultron is not. He is not interesting or groundbreaking. He is just a mouthpiece for a disaffected douchebag, and also like kind of a crappy bad guy. Like
it's also an interesting take for, it's like, this Ultron is a dark mirror to Tony Stark in the same way comic Ultron was a dark mirror to Hank Pym.
Right, and it's like, well, we can't use Hank Pym, so we'll make it Tony Stark. That's fine. It works fine. Like that concept is cool, but I feel like it could have been executed by somebody who actually gave a fuck. I don't think Whedon really cared.
Another theme I kind of had, it was a small theme, but kind of this idea of like fathers and their sons, where it's like, Tony Stark creates Ultron, Ultron creates Vision. We got all the stuff with Hawkeye and his kid, so that's kind of that's what I took away from it.
Yeah, no, there's some cool shit in there, and like I said, when I saw it the second time, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, this still works.
But my only real problem is Thor's Magic Cave Adventure, where it's like, this shouldn't have been in here.
I mean, like, I thought they were going to kill a couple characters in this movie, and to kind of like clear the slate a little bit, but they didn't do either. Like, I thought they were
gotta save it for Civil War.
Yeah, like I thought they were going to kill Thor, which would have been fine, because if you did, then he would have just gone to hell, like HEL, and then he could have fought his way out, and that's your Thor Ragnarok.
All the demons and the skeletons, and
or kill, since you want to put Hulk in Thor Ragnarok. Why didn't you kill Thor and Hulk? And then the opening of Thor Ragnarok is them both in hell. And
this
fight
is
their
comic
way
book
out.
Movies. Yeah, because this is comic book movies, and no one ever stays dead anyway. So.
Exactly. Like, if you think they're going to kill Steve Rogers, and he's not going to jump out of a cosmic cube at the end of Avengers 4, then you're kidding. Like, you're kidding yourself. Like, number one, I think Steve Rogers is going to die in Civil War. Number two, I think he is going to jump out of a cosmic cube when Thanos shows up.
Just smack him right on the jaw like Hitler.
So Avengers, whatever.
Avengers
also,
was fun. I liked it.
Mad Max. Let's talk about Mad Max.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, how can you not talk about Mad Max? Wow. The greatest, most bone-crunching, action-apocalyptic car movie ever directed by a grandpa.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool. I had no expectations going in, and I was pleasantly surprised by how cool and awesome it was.
It was like, dude, a Morton Joe and the War Boys, I think, will go on to be every bit as iconic as Master Blaster and Lord Humongous and all those others. Just like, wow, what really recognizable and iconic cinema villains.
No doubt. Just
mediocre.
Everything about it rocked. For me, my favorite thing about it had to have been Charlize Theron's character. Obviously, Max is more of a framework. He's the character he's the ride-along character we literally put ourselves on because he didn't say a fucking thing.
That's the thing. Like I think there's a lot of people when they complained about this movie just misunderstanding Mad Max in general. With like, oh, the movie wasn't really about him. Every Mad Max movie after the first one isn't about Max.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not there to watch him be Max. I'm there to watch, like, this universe, basically.
Another thing I liked about that movie, and it's something a lot of people haven't picked up on, and it's the idea I'm running with. In the beginning of the movie, Mad Max loses his jacket, his car, and his gun.
Yeah.
And then you get the bit where he gets dragged back and he's kind of faceless. I'm like, what's the deal with that? I'm like, oh, is this a commentary on how without those three things, Mad Max is literally nothing, and he's only Mad Max in the last 5 minutes of the movie once he's gotten back his car, jacket, and gun? He's like Indiana Jones in that regard. You take those things away from him, Indiana Jones doesn't really have anything.
I mean, I think Indiana Jones is more of a character than Mad Max, but I don't want to get into it.
I mean, like he is the ultimate wanderer. He is that guy who blows into town in the Western movies and messes stuff up.
That's true. That I would say Max definitely embodies. I loved the use of practical effects blended with CG, because it wasn't like they went in the desert and found tornadoes and fucking like they all drove those cars right next to each other. Like there were a lot of like practical effects, but it was a beautiful blend of
that friggin' war rig, man.
It was a beautiful blend of the right technology. Just all the right shit. It's using the tools of the trade to tell a story, and that worked out great.
And it did tell a story too. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just one giant long car chase."
No.
I'm like, "Ooh, it's so much more than that."
Yeah, way to miss the point. Like,
it's like a thing you can tell a story without having to actually, go over and give exposition and everything.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as visual storytelling, and it's something that I think's been lost in this day and age.
Well, the whole concept of show don't tell, like don't have characters just spout fucking exposition all the time. Yeah, absolutely. Did you see The Revenant?
No, I did not see The Revenant.
Neither did I. That goes in the we skipped it.
I didn't see Birdman either, and I know in certain movie circles that makes me a plebeian, but okay.
I saw Birdman, I liked it, but I saw it on HBO, for free, way later. I liked it. I thought it was really good. Didn't see The Revenant, don't care at all.
Bears and maulings.
Right, like, but nobody said anything like, but there's this character in it who, like, has a really crazy arc. Nope, they're just like, a bear eats a liver. Tom Hardy's really great, but he doesn't do anything. Like, okay, well, then no, I'm not going to see that. That's not for me.
Leo grunts a lot.
Yeah, like, pass. There's this little independent movie that came out this year that I don't know if you caught it. It was called Star Wars.
Yeah, I've heard something about these wars in the stars. Apparently it's based on an older franchise that they're bringing back now, and they actually were able to get back a bunch of the old actors for it.
Apparently, as I understand it, though, don't get like too excited, because like half the franchise sucks. Like there's six of them, and 3 of them are just fucking a waste. So how good could the last 3 be?
Yeah, but there's some kind of force. People are just forcing stuff all over the place.
I don't even know. That sounds pretty. That sounds kind of dark. I mean, for a PG rating, I think that's a little bit weak. Like, I don't know, but in any case, I saw it, and
Force Awakens. What can we say about Force Awakens?
That hasn't been said already. I loved it. I had a great time. It was exactly what I needed.
Made me feel like a kid again, and that was their intention.
Yep. People were like, I don't even want to address the haters because it's just it's just futile. It's great. I loved it. It made all the money I think it deserved, and it did a nice job of being like, fuck you. We're doing the same thing those Max guys did. We're gonna do like practical effects blended with CG. Some of the effects, like there's that proto Jawa character that rides that robot dragon in the middle of the desert, and I'm like, that's 2 guys.
In a suit, yeah.
I could see that those are 2 guys, but you know what? Fuck you. I want that. Like this. Like I don't want to be like, look. Did they make that? Like, look. Bantha was just an elephant with some shit on it. Like
Force Awakens to me made Star Wars every bit as big as it has always been in my imagination.
It's like when they re-skinned Ocarina of Time for the 3DS.
Yeah, there you go.
Where it's like, oh, this looks as good as I remember it looking. As opposed to me breaking out my N64 and playing that game, being like, this looks pretty crappy.
Because we love Star Wars, but you go back and you look at it, and it's like, oh yeah, this was a movie made on the cheap in the 70s.
That said, there's a lot of things that work so well that still work about Star Wars. I don't think anybody owns a copy of like the original. I do, but that's because I have them on Laserdisc.
There you go. Man, history will be on Laserdisc's side, I tell you.
I'm still on that. Yeah, I'm still on that. On the wrong side of the fence on that one.
Laserdisc is going to win the format wars. You just wait.
But yeah, Star Wars was great. There's not much to be said besides like it just fucking worked.
How cool is Kylo Ren as a villain here? Just like this angry, introverted kind of thing. I read a funny article there where it's like, man, the Star Wars movies always did a good job telling us whoever the villains were at the time. In the original trilogy, it was a faceless military organization. In the crappy prequel trilogy, it was, duplicitous politicians. And what's the most evil thing nowadays? Oh, an angry 20-something who feels entitled.
Yeah. Having Napoleon Dynamite be your villain is a brave move that I think works in this generation.
Adam Driver is a fine man, but yes.
He's so funny. I love that. I love... I'm not in love with the character. I'm not like, oh, I have my Kylo Ren posters and I have my Kylo Ren costume and shit.
Don't look at my Kylo Ren action figure or poster.
I think the costume is overdone. I think the costume is like obvious and the name is stupid, but I think they're supposed to be.
That's the point. He's literally a tryhard. He is trying so hard.
It's like being like, what if Tumblr produced a Darth Vader character?
He is the ultimate Vader fanboy, and I think that's amazing.
And that's fucking funny and cool, and I think that's awesome.
It is.
And there's a lot to be said for that level of like, we're gonna build a villain or not, like, because I think that they're approaching it from a perspective of like, Star Wars, like the world isn't black and white, and people love Star Wars, but doing that where it's like the world is black and white is not going to fly with modern audiences now.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, I think that, like, you know, Kylo Ren does things that you hate, and you hate him for it, but because of his lineage and where he comes from and what he means and what Leia's pursuit is for him, you're kind of like, they're not going to make him like a mustache twirling villain as much as even he wants to be one.
Yeah,
I think the movie is going to end as complicated as it began, where it's like,
for sure,
there is no bad guy. Actually, thankfully, there is a bad guy. His name Emperor or Supreme Leader Snoke, who has an equally stupid Star Wars fan filmy in name, and I think that was lazy on their part to make it Andy fucking Serkis.
I think it's kind of the appeal. There was just like, here's literally like a Wizard of Oz character who's bigger than everybody else. Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, like, either he's small and lame, or he's...
That's my theory.
Or he's not that. Like, it's all fake. And there's, like, another guy.
Look like that at all, yeah.
Yeah, like, either way, whatever, I'm down. Like, I'm interested to see where it goes. And
also, what balls to be like, yeah, we got Mark Hamill back as Luke. Oh no, you don't see him until the last 2 minutes, and no, he doesn't even say anything.
Yeah. That said, he better fucking do a lot of shit in the second one.
In the second one. You better say a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, love Star Wars, and I can't wait for the next one. Did you see Hateful Eight?
Yes, I did see Hateful Eight.
I also saw Hateful Eight.
I saw it twice, actually. I saw it, and then literally the night after, a friend came over and wanted to see it, so I saw it like twice in a row.
Nice. I did not like it.
Really, you didn't?
I thought it was...
I think we've had this conversation before.
I think it's the weakest. I think that Quentin Tarantino knows what a Western looks like, but I don't think he knows how to write one.
You see, I liked it more than Django, is the thing. I know I've had this conversation with other people. I liked it more. I thought it had more going on under the hood than Django did.
Yeah.
And also wasn't nearly as self-indulgent as Django, which is weird to say about a movie that literally starts with the 8th movie from Quentin Tarantino. And a movie that literally stops halfway through and starts another movie before going back.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that works. It looks really cool. The music is great. Ennio Morricone finally fucking got an Oscar for it.
It's a play. I admit that. It's totally a play.
Yeah.
It's more a play than movie.
I didn't get the Hollywood experience with the intermissions and the giant playbills and all that crap.
No, neither did I.
I didn't need it, and I think I would have. I feel like I would have liked it less because I would have been like, "What a pretentious fucking bunch of crap." Like,
but Sal, it was filmed on film, not digital.
Oh, good for all the inside stuff you filmed. You film outside for like 5 fucking minutes. Like. Inglorious 72 millimeter. Like, we filmed Ben-Hur on these cameras. Yeah, and then you filmed this fucking Reservoir Dogs prequel.
In a glorious grapple vision and encoded with blast processing, the Hateful Eight was.
Yeah, like, what do you... I don't know. I just feel like it was a little bit, like... I think it was a little overrated, and I think the only people who overrated it were Quentin Tarantino.
I like what it does with the themes of racial tension in America. I like the whole, what is it? Black people are only safe when white people are odd. Although I do think it's weird that some people read Walton Goggins' character as a hero when he is so totally not.
No. That said, the only thing that movie did for me was it made me like Walton Goggins as an actor.
Oh, really? See, I guess you're not a Justified fan.
I am not.
Not a fan of The Shield and all these other shows. Walton Goggins. No Sons of Anarchy when he played a cross-dressing dominatrix.
No, I did not. No, those are not for me.
Those are not for you?
No. But yeah, it looked great, and I love seeing Kurt Russell in movies. So that was, it was,
he's really good.
Yeah. It was nice to see Sam Jackson in an actual role in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Not just playing Sam Jackson.
Well, or not just being like a bit part or a cameo.
Or in Django Unchained, where he played Uncle Ruckus from
he
the
did that.
Boondocks.
That was a choice, I think, by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Another movie that I loved and I'm like amazed won an Oscar was Ex Machina.
Oh yes, the robot one.
I really, really liked it.
Good hard science fiction in a year when we didn't get much good hard science fiction.
No, this was a real fucking science fiction movie. And it dared to be different and like familiar and play with your ideas and expectations. I don't think it deserved Best Picture or Best Original or the Oscar for Best Special Effects. I was like,
right.
Yeah, all right. No. Like, it wasn't seamless. They didn't create things that weren't there. Like, I know what they did. I saw the making of. I know how they did that, and it looked like that. It didn't look like anything new or amazing, but it was new and cool. And it's like, it's almost like they wanted to nominate it for something bigger, but they knew that no one was gonna fucking vote for it because the Academy
Award hates horror, hates science fiction, and hates comedy.
They do. Same thing for fucking Mad Max didn't get any of the big ones. So
but just the fact that it was nominated for Best Picture is pretty amazing.
I think that was just, I don't know what that was. I think that was like they're shaking.
You know what that was? That's George Miller, the director. He's old now, and when you get to be a certain age, and because we got to pay you back for Babe and all those kids movies you did, you get a Best Picture nomination.
Right.
And also the fact that because we hate science fiction, horror, comedies, superheroes, and whatever, but, this is a dystopian drama, so, we can put this on here and still feel good about it.
Yeah. I agree.
Is what I think that came down to. But still, just the fact that it was up there was amazing. We all knew it wasn't going to win.
No.
But it won like 5 technical awards in a row.
It's true. It won a whole bunch of things. It's really cool. I also didn't think it really was the best picture of the year. I thought it was really cool, and I wanted it to win because I just wanted to see that world, where Mad fucking Max got best goddamn picture.
Yeah, the best picture of the Academy Award winning.
Yep.
Mad Max.
Mad fucking Max. That's right. Eat it.
A movie where a guy in a skin mask and onesie plays rock guitar that shoots fire.
Yes. It's just like it basically an Iron Maiden album cover comes to life. And then comes to the Oscars. Like, yeah. All right. There's another movie that I skipped. I guess we could talk about that, and then kind of like I'll leave it to you for any other ones that you wanted to mention. But like, okay. I skipped Fan Four Stick.
You never saw it at all.
I never saw it. I will one day, but not soon.
It's every bit as terrible as everyone said it is.
I deliberately didn't see it. I remember we're comic book YouTubers. We got to talk about this shit, and I was like, no, because everybody talked about how shitty it was and how crappy it was going to be and how stupid it looked, and I was like, I want Marvel to get Fantastic Four back, and I'm not going to help them by buying tickets to the movie they shouldn't be making. Like, that's really my problem, was like people were like, I'm gonna go see it because it's funny and hilarious. Well, guess what? They don't care how they make their money, as long as they make it. And I didn't want to see it be the #1 movie that weekend just because everybody wanted to see how shitty it was gonna be.
I brought 2 people with me. They both fell asleep.
Yeah, that's fucked, because they sold 3 tickets.
I know, right?
That's why I was like, no.
I felt that way later, and it's funny. It's not only just that it's bad; it's easily the most boring superhero movie ever made. Like, I think there's worse ones.
Yeah.
I think there's more insulting superhero movies that have been made, but this one was boring as its greatest sin.
That's the worst, when it's boring. And there are a couple of superhero movies I've seen that are like just not fucking exciting or entertaining.
Like Green Lantern is more insulting, and like, I'm sure there's some other ones that are worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one. But this one's just straight up like boring as hell.
That I will not forgive. I might never see it because it's boring. Like, I can tolerate terrible. I saw Jonah Hex, which might be the worst superhero movie I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad, and I'm a
But-
huge Jonah Hex fan, so that one hurt me deeply.
Yeah, that's like offensive. But at least shit happened in it. You know what I mean? Like things happen every couple of minutes. You're like, whoa!
Things happen like a big stupid gun and like a cage match between like a goblin monster man out of nowhere.
Yeah. But
Michael Shannon was the ringmaster in that. Isn't that weird? Michael Shannon went from Jonah Hex to being General Zod.
yeah. But I will not tolerate being bored. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
That's the worst. So those are the movies that I saw and enjoyed, and also the movies that I deliberately didn't see for 2015. How about you, Joel? Anything else we missed on this list?
Well, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to give some love to science fiction, horror, and comedy.
Okay.
Starting with comedy, one that was really good, Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. This was probably the year where Amy Schumer got a little too overexposed for her own good, but the actual movie that she was pitching all this time, Trainwreck, really, really good. Semi-autobiographical. Colin Quinn plays her dad, and he's hilarious. Bill Hader gets to lead, which is nice for a change. John Cena is in it, and John Cena is funny.
Cool. Yeah. That was not a movie for me. I was like, no, I don't like Amy Schumer's comedy. I like her writing better than I like her stand-up.
Well, here's the thing. She wrote the movie with Judd Apatow, so it's like those, Seth Rogen, Steve Carell type of bro comedies, only written from a woman's perspective.
That's a cool idea. That said, I think Judd Apatow is overrated.
Oh, I like Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow, to me, is what Kevin Smith would become if he matured beyond a certain point.
I hope not, because I really don't like Judd Apatow movies. I think Kevin Smith needs to, get his head out of his ass and stop smoking up so much, but, that's really, the problem is he's relying on too many things to become a better filmmaker, and instead of himself.
The only thing Judd Apatow is relying on is casting his wife and kids in every movie so he can continue to just hang out with them while he's at work.
I mean, that's I respect that. No, I don't respect that at all, but I understand it.
It's a nice touch. If I was a filmmaker, I'd do it.
Right? Well, it's like a fucking who's the guy who makes those movies with Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper every time?
Oh, yeah, I know the guy.
Who made Joy, which another movie I fucking was like, no.
Yeah, the guy who yells at people a lot, too.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. He was the guy who was supposed to be attached to do an Uncharted movie, but he never did.
Yeah. No. I don't, but he's like, okay, here, I'm making another movie. It's gonna be like a drama. I'm thinking about casting Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper, and they're gonna be together. David O. Russell, thank you, Ricardo.
David O. Russell, yeah, that's the
exactly.
guy. Yeah,
I'm like, no.
I'm not a fan of David O. Russell. He did, what was that one? With the people with the mental illness who were in love. What was that one?
Yeah, fucking Silver Linings Playbook.
Thank you. I also didn't like that one.
No, I didn't know if I wanted to know.
I thought that was actually kind of terrifying in many ways, and because of things that I've lived in my own life, I was grinding my teeth in that one.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's not cute, it's not quirky, it's horrifying.
Yeah, that's you're talking about a real issue that you're not making funny.
And you're trying to make it cute, and you know what? After this movie ended, those two people probably killed each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's for me, it's like when Scorsese kept casting DiCaprio. I was like, look. The kid does a good job.
And I really like The Aviator.
I didn't see The Aviator. Because I was
Aviator's really good.
Because I said, that's enough, Martin Scorsese. Get another actor. Do another thing.
The Aviator is the best DiCaprio Scorsese team up joint.
See, I think The Wolf of Wall Street is the best DiCaprio Scorsese joint.
Oh, that's really okay. You know what? That's close for me.
Right? Because
really good.
The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't think that came out this year.
No, it came out last year.
Yeah, it is. It's like a young person made it. Like that movie has the energy and tenacity and just overall rawness of a person who has something to prove at age 24. I was like, holy fucking shit. Scorsese's in his mid to late 70s and he fucking knocked this movie down.
Can still bring it in his old age.
That said, I'm never going to fucking watch that movie again because everybody in that movie is reprehensible and monstrous.
It's kind of like Requiem for a Dream or Trainspotting or
they're
like
great
Schindler's
movies.
List.
They're fucking amazing flicks.
Masterpieces.
But I can't fucking watch them again.
Oh, speaking of movies that are amazing but are so horrible you'll never want to watch them again, This was another one people were saying got snubbed, and it got snubbed because it was a Netflix original movie and not one that came out. But Beast of No Nation with Idris Elba.
Oh, I didn't see it, but I love Idris Elba, and I think he's great. So, and he picks good projects.
He does an amazing job playing the leader of this child army. If you ever saw that movie Blood Diamonds, ironically, also with DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever saw that one, there's a whole little side plot there where one of the kids becomes a child soldier. Yeah. Imagine those little vignettes, but stretched over 2 hours.
But it being a movie, that's fucking cool.
And it's soul-crushing, and it's dark, and it's sad, and you feel like you're right there with them because they filmed it, right in the jungles of, wherever.
Ugh, no.
And it's harsh, and the little kid actor who plays the child soldier, where you get to see him, grow up through all this. Amazing performance. Like, he gives a monologue at the end of the movie when, like, the war's over and he's living in, like, a facility for former child soldiers. Mm-hmm. And he's just, like, looking right into the camera with these soulless dead eyes, and he delivers this amazing monologue.
Ugh, that's awesome.
And it's so powerful, and I'm like, wow, and this got no award consideration.
That's weak.
That is weak.
I will say the kid from Room was at the Oscars, and the best moment from the Oscars... Easily, not a Chris Rock monologue, not a sketch, not even, and borderline. Actually, the best one was Ennio Morricone getting his fucking Oscar. But the other one was when R2-D2 and C-3PO and BB-8 come out on stage.
Oh, nice.
They come out on stage, and it's fucking hammy and... Oh, R2, we seem to have lost our seats. This isn't the front... Like, this isn't row G. This is the front of the stage. Herp-a-derp. Like, okay, fine. But the kid who was in Room, who was, like, 9... is like climbing over the seats to see them
to R2-D2
because for him they're real, and the other actors in front of him are like moving out of his way so he can see better. But like the look of joy on his face, because you can imagine being 9 years old, the Academy Awards. Look at all these glad-handing million-year-old douchebags who are all congratulating each other on movies that look like fucking boring crap. They look like they're doing their taxes.
Star Wars happened in front of you,
and then motherfucking Star Wars happens in front of me. They come out on stage proving that it's real. Like, that for me was a real moment that I was like, give the fucking guy who was on camera 6 like a goddamn chocolate bar, because he fucking was on that shit like he was, oh, film the kid, here comes Star Wars, he guarantee we will freak out. I'm like, that's adorable. That was fucking awesome.
Harsh, and I love that.
So there you go. Anything else that we should mention of 2015 before we sign off?
Yeah, again, give some horror some love here. Right. Here's one I saw not too long ago. Krampus! Fucking another one that I wanted to see, and I didn't fucking catch. And I hear it was fantastic. And Red Letter Media said the best sound of the whole fucking 2015 season. It really is. Do you like Gremlins, Sal?
Of course I like Gremlins. Joe Dante made it.
Well, guess what? Krampus is like Gremlins for a new generation. It is that perfect blend of horror comedy.
And puppets.
And puppets. So many amazing puppets.
I fucking need to see that shit.
So what's great about this movie, too, is I think probably more than any other movie I've ever seen, does it encapsulate white people Christmas. It really does. Like, it's this family. They're upper crusty. They're kind of yuppie and everything. And they're like, dirtbag cousins are coming over. Mm-hmm. And the kid's like, why don't we have to hang out with Uncle So-and-so every Christmas? Like, because we're family. But we don't have anything in common. And it's just tense and horrible. And they brought along the alcoholic aunt who they all agreed they weren't going to spend Christmas with. And she shows up. And I'm like, I have had this Christmas. This is white people right here. This is white people Christmas.
That's amazing.
This is what it's like.
That's funny.
And it's get to a point where, because it's a horror movie and because people die, you like these characters so much that you feel really bad when they die, because even the ones who are horrible are slightly, they have redeeming characteristics.
Well, because
no, not him.
Because you've had that Christmas, you're like, oh, but like he's still my uncle.
they feel like you're David Koechner, who plays the D-bag, dirtbag uncle, turns in one of his best performances in this. Like, he's really good in this, David Koechner.
He has the potential to be great, and he's just like, he's always like the alcoholic pain in the ass.
He's always doing the Will Ferrell comedies.
Exactly.
The Adam McKay comedies, which ironically Adam McKay won a freaking Oscar this year.
Yeah.
The guy who did Talladega Nights and Step Brothers is now an Academy Award winner. Wrap your minds around that.
Exactly. He must do something for them. Because you got to do something. You got to pay your dues when it comes to Oscar Gold. Did you watch, there's a behind-the-scenes video, speaking of wrapping it up with Oscars, there's a behind-the-scenes video that some YouTuber made in which they were invited to the Oscars.
Oh wow.
And he brought his little camera with him, and he filmed the entire experience. And he goes, and he looks like Sean fucking Penn. And I was like, is he gonna trick? Is he gonna like convince him he is Sean Penn and go into this Oscar? But like, and he just goes, and they gave him like the nosebleeds. It's amazing where he sits. But like, the experience is really cool, and he like really filmed it well. I was like, oh, and not like filmed it well like it was fucking brilliant shots like between the fucking fan blades of a ceiling fan. No, like he shot it well where he's like he showed you these moments where it's like you're there. He actually made it. It's like this is what the Oculus is for. Like, I went to the Oscar. I snuck into the Oscars with this fucking guy. Like, really, really cool. I don't remember who it was or why. He has like 2 million followers, so he's not hard to find. Just look up "Crash the Oscars" on YouTube, and you will find it.
There you go. Nice little plug. Maybe he'll return the favor.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, anything else you wanna mention? What's happening on Cape Joel this week?
Well, if you head on over there right now, you can find the newest episode of the Comic Multiverse. That's the show I do with Matt. We had a big, long episode this week, talked about all sorts of things. People really seem to be digging on that, and I appreciate it. My review of the new Avengers Standoff Assault on Pleasant Hill is done, and the only thing that's keeping me from uploading it is I was doing this. It's actually was rendering while we were talking, but I wasn't going to upload a video while we were doing a show.
I appreciate that.
So if people want to go there in the next 15 minutes,
right,
and watch that.
Nice. Is Avengers Standoff gonna have a series, or is it gonna be just a bunch of one-shots with ridiculous titles?
Yeah, that's a damn good question, because we had Welcome to Pleasant Hill, which was kind of the lead into it, written by Spencer.
Which was good, but this other one is also written by Spencer.
And this is the next part of it. This is setting it up.
Yep.
And then it looks like we're going to have a series of tie-ins, and then it looks like we're going to have like an Alpha and Omega at the end to finish it off.
I hate when they do the Alphas and Omegas, because I don't know where they're supposed to fit in or what. Like, no.
Just call it part 1, part 2,
do
part
the
3.
fucking series and number them.
It's really good, but I'm also really afraid moving forward how these other writers are going to take this weird, kind of funny, kind of creepy concept that Spencer is doing good with.
Yeah.
I feel like he should have just written the whole thing. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this was just a storyline he had planned, like a big arc for Captain America.
That's
and they're like, no, this is good. Make this a universe event.
Well, I bet they probably after the 12th delay for Secret Wars, they were like, fucking make it. You know what? You're gonna be done. Like, when you write it, it'll be over, and it'll be short, and it'll be out. We can get that shit cranked out, no problem. And people will probably want we need to do an event, but we can make it not be that the world's in peril. It could just be about these guys and this place.
It can be about moral questions about what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do a different moral question called Civil War.
Yeah. Which, in fact, Iron Man this week is a prelude to Civil War, too.
I saw that banner. I'll wait. But anyway, I guess that's it. We can wrap it up now. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Elseworlds Exchange, and we'll see you guys next week with a new episode. I am Sal.
I'm Joel.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.